Hello everyone, I'm Renzo Mayo, and since everyone's always talking about classes, I wanna talk about subclasses. Before the video starts, if you have any trouble with the audio or you can't recognize some of the words in the video, you can just click in this video right here to turn on the subtitles. Remember, you can find this option in all of my videos. Death is a complex concept in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Unlike in our world, every being has inside of it both life and death energy. These energies can be influenced by deities, creatures, and mortals with the use of divine and arcane magic. Life energy can be used to heal a being, to protect it, and to bring it back to life. On the other hand, death energy can be used to harm a being, inflict sickness, and, yes, also bring it back to life. To unlife. We usually think of undeads as soulless husks, mindless corpses reanimated into servitude for as long as the rotting corpses can endure. But the undead are a much broader category of creatures. There are three kinds of undead: skeletal, like liches and demi-liches, corporeal, like death knights and vampires, and incorporeal, like ghasts and banshees. What they all have in common is that they have been brought back into unlife by spiritual or supernatural forces. The means of this transformation vary from being to being, and with it, the amount of humanity and semblance of their past life they retain. Some undead, able to retain their full mind, are able to amass huge power and influence in their unlife, becoming powerful undead lords. Acererak, the plane-shifting and artifact hunter lich, Asallan, the tyrannical wizard king, Lord Soth, the knight of the Black Rose, and Strat von Sarovich, vampire count of the Valley of Barovia, are some of the creatures who ostent this title. When death is not an impediment for your nefarious plans, time is but another resource to take in mind. But your plans always need servants willing to abide by your will. For that, an Undead Warlock is the best of your tools. Be it by selling their soul or by pledging their undying servitude to an Undead Lord, the Pact of the Undead Warlock grants them access to a portion of the undead powers of their master. One of these being the access to arcane arts, able to harness and manipulate the death energy in other creatures. Being able to weaken the bodies of their foes, contacting the spirit of dead creatures, or even temporarily preventing death on a creature, are some of the spells they learn from their master, getting more powerful gifts the more useful they prove to be. One of these many gifts is being able to temporarily tap into the dreadful nature of their master. For a short period of time, an Undead Warlock is able to change the nature of their own being to resemble the one from their master. Be it harnessing the powers of lichdom, or being engulfed in the dark path of vampirism, their mortal body gains extra resilience and the ability to infuse horror into the hearts of men, just by placing their eyes into their terrible visage. Over time, these transformations prove to take a toll on the Undead Warlock's body. By constantly tapping into their master's power, these dark energies affect their bodies, inflicting over them symptoms similar to the curse of undeath. Their bodies lose the yearning for mortal needs such as food, drink, or air, and dark energies soar through their veins, cursing them with necrotic corruption over everything they touch. For some, this may be an unnerving damnation, but for the Undead Warlock, these are awards for their hard work. There comes a point of no return, when the body of the Undead Warlock becomes so saturated with the influence of undeath and necrotic energies, it becomes, virtually, an undead itself. No longer vulnerable to the influence of death energies and necrotic magic, their bodies become a ticking bomb of corruption and decay. In the same fashion an undead is able to raise itself back into undeath after seemingly being stricken down, The Undead Warlock is able to escape the clutches of death and bring violent vengeance upon their seemingly victorious enemies. In a burst of arcane energy, their bodies explode with waves of necrotic decay, killing anything around them and rising back into undeath, surrounded by the immobile bodies of their enemies. When the pact between an Undead Warlock and their master is the strongest, the Undead Lord bestows upon them the greatest gift of all: control over the fine line between life and death itself. Their bodies are no longer the physical prison that ingrains them into mortal life, but only a vessel for their spirit, which has ascended into a superior being. By their own hand, the Undead Warlock is able to temporarily separate their body from their spirit, revealing their true spectre-like nature. With this process, both their physical and spiritual bodies are no longer restrained by physical means like mere mortals. Not even their magic requires physical attributes to employ the necromantic arts, and, with a mere touch, the Undead Warlock is able to drain the life energy out of other creatures, for their own benefit. They are no longer mortal. They are no longer alive, but not dead either. They are so much more. So, next time you need a minion to help you spread death and suffering to anything alive in the multiverse, or you need a faithful hand in your plan to escaping from your demiplanar prison, there's no better fanatic than one willing to abide to your will, both in life and death. But beware, cause when death is no longer a deadline for your goals, the thirst for power has no expiration date. Thanks for watching the video! I hope you like watching these videos as much as I like making them. If you want to support the channel, don't forget to leave a like and hit the subscribe button. Also, remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and tell me in the comments which subclass would you like to see next. And that's it! I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!